Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is Kelton Under Pressure. Got another video for you. This is actually a free tool that I use. It's actually been really incredible. So this tool is called Revenue Buddy, and this is for like visualizing your annual goals. So goal visualization or goal projecting. So whatever you want your annual revenue goal to be, a lot of times it gets kind of nerve-wracking when you set a goal. Like we've set a goal for $500,000 this year, and if we look at that on a really basic principle of how you would set that goal, we'd say, okay, so if we want to do $500,000 this year, simple math, and basically the way that most people would set goals is to say, $500,000, that's how much we want to do this year. We're going to work 50 weeks out of the year. We'll probably take 2 weeks off for vacation and stuff. So 50 weeks out of the year, which basically means that we need to be making $10,000 a week in order for us to hit that 500,000 goal. That sounds like a lot, especially right now during the winter time. So what we do is we plug that goal into this software that I'm going to show you guys called Revenue Buddy. Now with Revenue Buddy, you've got the different things. You've got your revenue goal chart, and you can see some of the different seasonality here. This is why we love Revenue Buddy, by the way. You'll have your revenue goal chart, your capacity chart, and then step 3 is videos from Joshua Latimer. This is his software, and it is free. You don't have to sign up for anything except for this software. You put your email in, and that's all they do is they send you a weekly email helping you keep track of your goals. So step 3 is videos that you can watch with Josh. However, you go to the update data information, and you can see, like I said, we've been using it the last 3 years, and you can see what our annual revenues have been for the last 3 years because we input this on a monthly basis. Now obviously we didn't start in January or February of 2020. I started my business in February of 2020, but I actually didn't start making any money until March. And you see that first month in March, or that first year in March, we only did $775. And then so on and so forth as you know I went through the year doing that part-time, and then we grew. But putting this information in every single month for every single year is what actually helps to show it. It'll show your year-end revenues here that you attained through the past years, and then what it does is it'll predict the seasonality. Now before I jump back over to that chart, I want to show you. So you'll put in your yearly revenue goal. So we put in 500,000. Yearly base revenue, you can put something in here if you want. We typically just kind of keep it blank because the thing is with our business, we don't necessarily have any recurring revenue because we're not doing gas stations, or we're not really doing restaurants, not enough to have a significant impact that we can guarantee is recurring for us to actually give ourselves a baseline. Now, yes, we have previous customer base that we use, but as far as guaranteeing them, if we wanted to, we could probably ballpark that number, and we could probably say 20% of our last year's base may come back as repeat customers. So we could do that if we wanted, but just for simplicity, we just put that there's no yearly base revenue depending on your business. Now if you're a landscape business, or if you're a home clean maid service business, and you actually have revenue that is recurring in there, you know that you're going to be going to that customer's house every week, every month for X amount of dollars, then yes, please put in your yearly revenue base. Now put in your profit margins with 75% profit margins. Put in what your average ticket price is. So our average ticket price right now is $1,095. That's very important to the way this system works, is make sure that you know these numbers. Find your average ticket price, put that in. What is your monthly revenue capacity per crew, and how big is your crew? So you have to establish that. So we say, one crew for us is 2 employees, it's 2 technicians, it's a lead tech and it's an assistant tech. What is their capacity per month for them to be able to produce? How much income can they produce? So that's $30,000 is about going to be the max for 1 truck, 2 technicians for us at this time. So, and this is going to be key for you as well, having this information in here. Because what that's going to do is if you know what your capacity is, the amount of income that you can produce, then what you would do is one crew with 2 technicians can produce $30,000 a month. When you jump over here to your revenue goal chart and you start looking at, okay, well, if that's how much you can do per month, you can actually just look at it right here. So $25,000 in January, cool, you can meet that with 2 crews or 2 members. $10,000 in February, you can do that. $30,000 in March, cool, you can do that. $40,000, you're starting to get outside of your capacity. $40,000, you're outside of your capacity. $35,000, you're still slightly outside of your capacity. $75,000, if we need to do $75,000 in that month, but our crew is only capable of $30,000, guess what you need to be doing? You need to be hiring. You need to go ahead and you can look at this chart and say, okay, in July, if I have to do $75,000 in income and a 2-person crew is only capable of $30,000 in income, then we need to do some hiring. We need to start looking back in April and May and start getting people hired on, get them trained up, even if they're part-time technicians or whatever it is. So that way, whenever this July comes and we have to do $75,000, then we've got the additional labor force needed to produce that $75,000. So that's significant. That's why we love this too. So if you come down here and you look, it's going to show you, okay, how many new clients do you need, and that new client is going to be at your average ticket price. So how many weekly new clients do you need? So we would need 6 new clients in January, 6 new clients a week at an average ticket of $1,095. And that would get us to our goal. So our monthly goal, so it'll show you $25,000 in January. That's all we have to do. So instead of looking at that $500,000 goal, saying that we need to be doing $10,000 weeks, $40,000 months in excess, give or take because of the weeks, $10,000 weeks, that would say, okay, we have to do $40,000 in January, and you're looking at your sales going, we are not hitting $40,000 in January. There's no way we're going to hit $500,000 at the end of the year. Actually, you can, because if you look, you only had to do $25,000 in January. So if you're hitting 19, 20, 25, 30 in January, even though you're not hitting the $10,000 a week, it's okay. You didn't have to. And then February, you only have to hit $10,000 for that month. Your weekly section shows you that too. So weekly in January, $6,250 per week will keep you on track for $500,000 a year, because putting in what your previous history is, your work history, shows you that seasonal curve. It shows you how that grows. So Revenue Buddy is going to take your goal and it's going to say, okay, X percent of your revenue, you generate on average X percent of your revenue, and it actually shows that. I want to see if it shows it here. Oh, there it is right there. So if you look at this section, in January, 5% of your total revenue on average is produced in the month of January. 2% for us, 2% is produced in February, 6% in March, 8% in April, 8% in May, 7% in June. 15% of our revenue is produced in July. Now there's an outlier there because we cleaned the college, and we have for the last 2 years. So that's why that number is so huge, that 75,000, is because we know that we've been getting X percent of dollars from doing the college in June, essentially June and July, and that's why that number jumps so drastically. If it wasn't for that outlier, then we'd probably be about the same as May and June. It would probably only be about 7%, which would mean that the other numbers would increase. Then obviously we go 8% in August, 6% in September, October, and November. So if you're new to the pressure washing industry and you're down in the South, this may seem a little bit odd that we would be essentially slower during the summer than we are in the winter months, or pre-winter, obviously. But for us, the summer months, people are on vacation, they're hanging on to any disposable income because they're not thinking about washing their houses. It's super hot outside right now, and they're just distracted with other things. They're not concerned about getting their house washed during the summer. So what they're looking at is, okay, the summer, they're out, they're gone, they're doing whatever. All of a sudden, the fourth quarter of the year comes around, and you got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You have all of these holidays coming up where people are going to have family members coming around, and now it's time to start getting the house clean. Your in-laws are coming, you might want to have the house clean. So that's why you have this significant increase in sales right here towards the end of the year. And then obviously, right before December, people are Christmas shopping because everybody waits to the last minute to Christmas shop. People are Christmas shopping, so you will see a decrease usually going into Christmas, and then obviously into the New Year's, things are a little bit crazy. Things start to slow down. It's colder outside. People aren't really concerned about getting their house washed. And then February is usually about the lull for us. January and February is where it kind of slows down the most. And then March, it starts picking up. February is income tax season. People are starting to get their income taxes, and then you start to see a little bit of growth in March, and then spring hits, and then you start doing good revenues again. So Revenue Buddy is fantastic because what it does is it says, hey, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. If you can look at your annual revenue goal and break it down week by week and say, okay, each week I only need to be doing $6,250 instead of $10,000 a week. That is kind of a breath of relief because you can look and say, okay, well, hey, I'm not really getting that. It's okay. You didn't have to get that at the very beginning of the year. February is a big sigh of relief because you sit there, look, man, I'm not hitting $10,000 a month, or $10,000 a week. We should be hitting $10,000 a week if we want to meet that goal. No, there's a seasonality to your business. And Revenue Buddy is fantastic for collecting data and painting the picture of that seasonality for you. Now, obviously, if you're in northern states and you only have like a 9-month season, then your seasonality is going to be a lot different from ours. You're probably going to be a lot busier during the summer than what we are because that's your time window for getting things done. But as far as us down here in the South, we've got a 12-month season. These are the numbers that we're looking at, and this is kind of how it curves for us. So having Revenue Buddy is fantastic for looking at that. And then down here, I want to show you one more thing, the capacity section. So this is where you start looking and saying, okay, $30,000 a month capacity with 2 people on 1 truck. January and February was no problem. Look right here. So we could have done that with less than 1 crew in January. We could have done that with a third of the crew, essentially, in February. But March, we're kind of like 1 crew, like we're right at capacity, which you don't want to be right at capacity. You want to kind of be a little bit ahead. So March, we're already going to basically be at capacity, and we need to start looking at hiring a part-time technician. April, 1.3, 1.3, 1.1. Once we hit April, we're already outside of capacity, so we need to go ahead and start getting that part-time technician. July, we need 2.5 crews in order for us to be able to do this. So we know that we have that big commercial job, so we need to have at least 1 crew and 1 truck dedicated just to doing that commercial job, so that way we can have 1 residential truck who's just knocking out the residential work that should come as a result of the growth that we've experienced over the last few years. So this is just fantastic for getting you set up for that. And then again, you can see how it starts to kind of taper back down. 1.3, you're going to have 1 crew capacity in September, which is fine. We're basically maxed out at capacity, but we should be able to do it. And then obviously those winter months again, you may need to look at seasonal help, seasonal part-time help or whatever, to make sure that you can actually meet the capacity, or you're just going to have to get super efficient in your processes. Or the other thing that you can do is if you cannot get the capacity there, then what you may need to do is you may need to come back over here, and once you update your average ticket price, as you update your average ticket price, say if this number was $1,600 was our average ticket, then all of these numbers would change. We wouldn't have to have 6 new weekly clients for a total of $6,250. We would still need the $6,250, but if we had a $1,600 ticket, then we could get it through 4 clients or 3 clients or whatever. It would change all of these. And if you're only having to do that many jobs, obviously like your capacity and stuff is going to change. So Revenue Buddy is a fantastic tool. I know I haven't really hit everything on this. There's so many goodies in here. I mean, even like your max customer acquisition cost, so how much you're putting out in advertising, it's going to be a great thing. If you want to know what that is, there's actually a video on here so you can watch Josh Latimer actually go through and give you the explanation on what your max acquisition cost should be. And then the other key thing too is during the seasons, if you see these little icons here, how are you getting your leads? You should be spending time or money. And it'll tell you, hey, in January, if you're slow, you might need to be spending time and money to try to generate leads. February, there's not a lot of money coming in, so you probably don't need to be spending money on leads at that point either. So just spend more time get into your networking and your different referral groups and your BNIs and your chambers, whoever you can. Do more networking, spend more time trying to generate that revenue. March, obviously time and money, and it'll paint the picture. And then in July, whenever you're just slammed and you don't have the time to go out and generate revenue, just let your money do it. Pay for the marketing, pay for the advertising, let it get out in front of people, because you don't have to spend a lot of time in front of your customers to get it. This is when they're already buying. At least that's the way it looks here, is that's when they're already buying. So just putting a little bit of money into your marketing and your advertising account is going to allow you to generate the customers. It's going to put the bait out in front of the customers for you without you having to spend a lot of time on site and getting customers that way. And then same thing for obviously your winter seasons. Please, 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 if you guys get a chance, look at this. It is fantastic. Again, all the numbers, all the information, all the data that it gives you, so you can predict what your seasonality is going to be. And then again, with that, every single week, every Monday, once you've signed up with this, every Monday you'll actually get a email from Revenue Buddy saying, hey bud, look, you're doing fantastic. If you want to reach that goal of $500,000 a year this week, all you need to get is that 6 more clients, and an average, assuming that your average ticket is still $1,095, just go out there, crush it, and you should be able to hit that goal, no problem. So fantastic piece of information, incredible tool. Thank you, Josh Latimer. It really is. I love using this. You can see I've been using it for the last 3 years. And if you looked at the top, it does say that it's powered by SendJim. It's another fantastic tool that you guys could be using, is SendJim. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys will look into this. Again, I love this. Revenue Buddy has been great for us. I think you guys could really benefit from it. If you guys are already using it, let me know. Hopefully I hit on all the talking points there. I know I've missed some stuff, I'm sure. But if you guys like this video and you like the other videos, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe. Helps us out a bunch. Appreciate you guys.